everyone, Becky here. I'm here to talk to you guys about self-love, and if you've been suffering from depression, anxiety, PTSD, anything like that, I'm hoping that whatever information I share here with you will assist you on your own journey. But for me to really help you, I need to encourage you to completely open up your mind and shelve your belief systems for just a few minutes, because I want to share several different points with you about self-love and opening up your mind about it. So, I happen to agree with Pope Francis when he says that science and religion can't exist without the other. The reason I agree with that is because the God that I believe in is so loving that he gave us our souls, he gave us our bodies, he gave us our bodies to love with. He gave us a planet, and then he gave us free will. Knowing free will, he gave us science and nature that are just as healing as prayer is for others. So why are we limiting ourselves in how we love? How come we're following only one mainstream belief system, one mainstream type of science? Why aren't we exploring every avenue that is offered, especially when there's so many things about science and religion that are intertwined and that are running parallel to each other? So, with that, Buddha, he says, you, just as much as anyone else in this universe, deserve your love and affection. The Hindus have a legend about an elderly man who was so wealthy that all the other villagers thought he had a chest full of treasure, and they want to know how much treasure it took to make them happy. And then one day the young man explained to a little boy, happiness is like climbing a ladder. It can only be achieved rung by rung. Happiness isn't the next job, the next car, the next new place to live. And that is where I had to learn that the hard way, because I was moving all the time, I was changing jobs all the time, and I could not make myself happy no matter what type of changes I brought to myself. So I don't want anyone to have to struggle as much as I did with that, because it's not a fun place to crawl up from. So we also have to consider science when we're doing self-love, because when we consider everything has energy. Quantum physics has proven that everything has energy. So when we are expecting a certain result, that's going to happen because we're expecting it. But we're also damaging ourselves at the same time, because with negative energy, we'll have negative effects. And what the bleep down the rabbit hole, if you've ever had a chance to watch that movie, there is a ice experiment that they show where ice froze, and depending on the energy behind it, that would determine the pattern it was made. So positive energy behind it, the ice had they had formed beautiful patterns, and the opposite happened with the negative energy behind it. And then when we think of another science on how to self-love and how to train our brain to feel better, most commonly it's called cognitive behavior therapy. And what you're doing is literally switching negative words out with positive words. You are taking the same exact thing that you want in your life, but you're putting it in a positive way. So that way you can actually achieve your goal a lot faster. And it takes 10 to 14 days to change a habit or to create a habit. That's 10 to 14 days consecutively in consistent behavior. So with that, I suggest, especially if you don't like change, don't think of that you're changing something. Think of, okay, what result do I want? And how am I going to get that? What are the positive things that I can do to make sure I get this result? So don't think of it like, oh, if I want to lose weight, oh, I hate exercising. Okay, don't think, okay, well, I have to exercise to lose weight. What do you like to do? What are the activities that you like to do? Do you like to go for walks? How many times a week are you going to go for a walk? things like that. Okay, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So, self-love. I recommend the first step is to give yourself permission to love yourself. Give yourself permission to be kind. Give yourself permission to wake up in the morning, look at yourself and say, hey, gorgeous, how you doing today? You're a rock star. Because if you're the only one saying nice things to yourself, after a while, that starts to add up. Because you need to be able to look into your own soul, look into your own eyes, and tell you how wonderful you are. Especially if those are words that you've been longing to hear from someone and they're not telling that to you. Tell them to yourself. Give yourself permission to love yourself because you are awesome. You are amazing. Own it. Another thing I had to do for myself was give myself permission to love things that I don't love. Say what? Okay, so I hate mornings and I don't like it when my kids cry in the morning, but I can't stop mornings from happening. So I have made the switch to waking up 15 minutes before I wake up my kids. So that way I am loving myself enough to give my brain a chance to wake up before I have to start adulting and meeting demands. So then when I go into their room, I'm, good morning, how are you? Did everyone sleep well? Whether or not they have a positive response, I feel good because I'm not yelling at them. And I chose to show love at the hardest part of my day. And the number 3 thing I want to share with you today, because it kind of falls back into the cognitive behavior therapy / quantum physics. When you're screaming at yourself every single day because you've lost your purse, your keys, your coat, your shoes, you don't remember where you sat everything, you don't remember where you took anything off, and you're screaming at everyone in your house because you can't find it, and then why are you such an idiot? That's not cool. Well, by the time you've left the house, half hour late, and you now feel like the worst person in this entire world, it's really not worth doing that to yourself daily. So love yourself enough to make a routine. When you walk in the door, shoes, coat, purse, keys, one area, 30 seconds will save you 20 minutes minimum every single day of trying to get out the door. And it's not cool by the time you're running out the door that you've made yourself completely feel like crap because you've just been cursing at yourself, running around like a mad person. So, self-love. Learn it from all sorts of religious aspects. And I want you to learn it, to respect it, because there's a lot of people who get desperate and they start meddling in other religions. Well, guess which Christian group has to do exorcisms because somebody went dabbling where they shouldn't have? Catholics. Okay, so don't do any kind of witchcraft seeking spells or anything like that. Don't do it unless you know the person and unless you've done your research on it, because the last thing that we need is a negative entity attaching to us, and that's going to bring us down. And if we didn't have negative entities attached to us, then nobody would have to be doing exorcisms, because we would have all had the self-love tools to begin with to avoid all of that. So again, self-love. Learn it from any aspect that you can to make yourself feel better. Give yourself permission to be kind to yourself and to show love to yourself. Flirt with yourself in the mirror. And again, I don't care how far you have to take that, as long as it's behind closed doors and legal. Just saying. And give yourself permission to love things in the hardest part of your day to help you be that a little bit more positive, just a little bit more positive. Does go a long way. It starts to add up every day. And give yourself permission to love yourself enough to set up a routine. Those are the 3 most basic steps I can share with you today, especially if you barely have energy to even get out of bed. just thinking at least even getting one of those started. Just start something every single day and let me know in a couple of weeks on how you feel.